That's whew.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Jump Rope Veteran. This week we're going to be learning the backward double under. If you haven't had a chance already, please go down to the bottom right hand corner of the video and hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's get into it. We're going to start off this video looking at the most common mistake that trips people up quite literally in trying to get this move down. The most common mistake that I've run into is putting my hands too close to the ground. And I'm not doing it right now, but toward the end of the clip you're going to be able to see that I put my hands just a couple inches too close to the ground as I'm rotating the rope, and the rope ends up bunching up under me because too much of it catches the ground and the surface. And you can see that right here, how the rope bunched up under me and I tripped on my revolution. We're going to look at this again. This is something that doesn't normally happen with a traditional double under just because of the way the body works. When you're doing a backward double under, for some reason, I think it's because you're putting your wrists up to rotate, there's a better chance that the rope is going to catch the surface, which is what's happening here. So the number one thing you want to do to avoid this is be mindful of where your hands are and to try to keep them higher up off the ground than you normally would with a regular double under. Now we're going to get into the first focus area, which is doing singles to doubles so that we can master this. What you're going to want to do to master any double under move is to do a single, a few singles in a row, and then a double followed by more singles. So in this video, I think I'm doing 3, 4, or 5 singles and then a double followed by 3, 4, or 5 singles. It doesn't really matter how many singles you do, but before you get the move down, you just want to make sure you're following this pattern. So if you want to do 3 singles, 1, 2, 3, and then a double followed by 3 singles, or you want to do 4 or 5, the number really doesn't matter. I recommend at least 3. But what this is teaching you is how, most importantly, to switch from doing singles to doubles back to singles, and it's also helping you get the double under move down without the frustration of not being able to link them together consistently. Because if you try to go into doing a move like this consistently without first practicing the mechanics of doing the singles to doubles, it's going to be frustrating and you're more likely to quit because you're not able to get the move down as quickly as you want to. So like any other move, the backward double under, it takes time. I think it took me about 2 or 3 weeks of dedicated practice to get this move down, and it wasn't until I started doing singles to doubles and then back to singles like you see me doing here that I was able to get this move down. So the moral of this story is to take the time to practice up front before diving into trying to get the move down all the way, before diving in to getting the move down consistently. You want to make sure that you get the mechanics down first. So if you can do a backward jump, you'll be able to do at least 1 backward double under. You got to be able to do 1 before you can do more than 1 and do more than 1 consistently. I think one of my favorite quotes that relates to this is Abraham Lincoln's quote, where he says something to the effect of, if I'm given 6 hours to chop a tree down, I'll spend the 4 hours sharpening the axe. That's what you want to do here. This is what this move is, or what this process is it's simply sharpening the axe. So what you want to do is do singles to 1 double and then back to singles, and keep doing this process over and over again until you feel comfortable enough to where you're able to do a backward double under without even thinking about it. Alright, the second focus area is wrist rotation. To jump backwards, wrist rotation is extremely important. It's an extremely important aspect of this to be mindful of. When you're doing your wrist rotations for the backward double under, it's going to be very similar to a traditional backward jump. It's going to be the exact opposite of a traditional frontward jump where you're rotating your wrists in a downward motion. For a backward double under, you're essentially doing a curl. That's the best way I can describe this, because you're in order to rotate the rope in a backwards fashion, you're having to lift your arms up and rotate your arms up, similar to what you would be doing with a curl in the gym when you're lifting weights. Be mindful of this. Make sure that you're actively focusing on rotating your wrists slightly upward in a curl-like fashion. You don't want to rotate your arms all the way upward, but you want to do what I'm doing in this video. You want to rotate them up slightly, the exact opposite of what you would be doing for a traditional frontwards jump. That's all this is. It's the exact opposite. So I can't stress this enough, is that you want to rotate your wrists up in a curl-like fashion. You should be feeling this in your shoulders and in your biceps as well. That's why this move is such a great move for upper body work, and that's why it works out different muscles than a traditional frontward jump rope move, because it's so different. Now when you're doing the double under portion of the backward jump, you want to rotate your wrists upward twice. The first time should be a little bit more powerful than the second time. You're able to make the second wrist rotation less powerful because the rope is already rotating with enough momentum to carry it backwards again. So, like you see me doing here in this video, you do 2 quick rotations while you're up in the air, just like you would do with a regular double under, except the exact opposite. You're rotating your wrists slightly upward, like you see me doing in this video. Remember to rotate your wrists upward in a quasi-curl-like fashion, the exact opposite of what you would do for a traditional frontward double under. Ladies and gentlemen, our last focus area is balance and posture. Okay, I'm not sure about you, but for me, when I first started jumping rope and I realized that eventually I wanted to learn how to jump backwards and add that to my arsenal, I found jumping backward to be very awkward. Now, some people jump backward more naturally than they jump frontward, but for me, I jump frontward much more naturally than backward. So it took me a long time to get over the awkwardness, and I still struggle with the awkwardness. Part of the awkwardness for me has to do with keeping my balance and posture while still rotating my wrists in an upward curl-like fashion and continuing to be able to jump over the rope. What you want to do with your balance and your posture is you want to maintain and be mindful of keeping yourself in an erect upward motion. Your body should be in a straight line, and you shouldn't sacrifice your body position in order to be able to jump backward. You should be focused on doing it right, and the only way to do this right is to not slouch over and not sacrifice your body position. You have to maintain a straight body position, a straight back, just like you'd be doing with a regular jump or a regular double under. When you do a regular double under, you're not slouching, you're not sacrificing your body position. You are remaining in a straight line, and you have to do that here, or else it's going to become difficult and the awkwardness is going to remain. So like I said earlier, there's some people that find jumping backward easier than jumping frontward, but I would venture to say that a majority of people find jumping frontward to be more natural and find jumping backward to be a little bit more awkward. And as I said before, it's because of the awkwardness that people try to compensate for changing their body position. Remember, keep your body position in a straight line. Keep your posture upright. You don't want to sacrifice anything here. Make sure that you're mindful of this, and you don't want to sacrifice jumping a couple of backward jumps for slouching over, because at the end of the day, if you're slouched over, you're not going to be able to execute multiple backward double unders in a row like you saw me do in the beginning of the video. The goal here is to be able to do what I'm doing in this video here, and I have a frontward view and a sideward view. Just like a regular double under, you're going to want to be able to eventually string these together consecutively, but you can only get there by following what I prescribed in the first part of the video, following the focus areas, ensuring that you don't simply dive in to trying to string together consecutive backward double unders, but that you do 3, 4, 5 singles followed by a double, followed by 3, 4, or 5 singles. If you do that, you'll be able to reach this goal, I would say, in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks if you're practicing it for 15 to 20 minutes a day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for this week's tutorial on the backward double under. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you're getting value from the channel, and I hope that you got value from this video today and that you're able to execute this move relatively quickly and that you can add this move to your jump rope arsenal. It's got a lot of benefits. It works out your upper body in a way that a regular frontward jump just doesn't do. And of course, it's going to take your cardio game to the next level if you can master this move. So if you haven't had a chance yet, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. It would help this channel continue to grow so that I can continue to make more free content for you. If you want, you can go over to patreon.com, search for a Jump Rope Veteran, and you can make a monetary donation of however much you'd like. If you find this channel valuable and worthy of that, I'd really appreciate that. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com and donate there. You can search for a Jump Rope Veteran on that website as well. Another way that you can support is by simply hitting the like button and sharing this video today and the other videos on the channel or the channel itself with your family and friends. The more people that know about it, the more that the channel can continue to grow. You can also go over to www.jumpropevet.com and subscribe to the mailing list. That always helps also. Until next week, I'll see everybody later. Again, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you continuing to come back. I appreciate the love and all the comments that people post below, trying to get better in their jump rope game and taking their health and fitness seriously. So, until next week, I'll see everybody later. Have a good one. Jump rope to freedom.